Welcome to our channel. Please subscribe for new videos. A public limited company is registered under the Companies Act 2013 having limited liability and is listed on a recognized stock exchange. A public limited company offers shares to the general public through IPOs or FPOs and can be bought and sold in the stock markets. A public limited company operates as a separate legal entity from its owners. The main characteristics of a public limited company are as follows. As per the provisions of the Companies Act, 2013, a public limited company should have a minimum of 3 directors, and there is no restriction on the maximum number of directors the company can have. The minimum number of shareholders required to start a public company is 7, while there is no limit to a maximum number of shareholders. The issue of prospectus or statement is mandatory in the case of a public company. A prospectus is a comprehensive statement of the affairs of the company. In a public limited company, the liability of each shareholder is limited to the amounts invested by them and are not responsible for any losses or debts of the company. However, the shareholders would still be held responsible for their illegal actions. Shares of a public limited company are listed on a recognized stock exchange and traded publicly on the stock exchange. The shares of a public company are freely transferable. The public company will require a certificate of commencement post-incorporation to begin its operation. It must constitute an audit committee of the board. The primary purpose of a company's audit committee is to provide oversight of the financial reporting process, the audit process, the company's system of internal controls, and compliance with laws and regulations. Requirements for registration of a public limited company. There are various rules and regulations prescribed under the Companies Act, 2013, to form a public limited company. Here is what you should keep in mind when registering a public limited company. Minimum 7 shareholders are required to form a public limited company. A minimum of 3 directors is required to form a public limited company. A minimum share capital of Rs. 5 lakhs is required. A digital signature certificate, DSC, of one of the directors is needed while submitting self-attested copies of identity and address proof. Directors of the proposed company will need a DIN. An application is required to be made for the selection of the name of the company. An application comprising the main object clause of the company is to be made. This object clause will define what a company will pursue after its incorporation. Submission of the application to ROC and the required documents like MOA, AOA, duly filled Form DIR 12, Form INC 7, and Form INC 22 are needed. Payment of the prescribed registration fees to the ROC is required. After obtaining approval from the ROC, the company should apply for the Certificate of Business Commencement. Procedure for registration of a public limited company. Step 1. Digital Signature Certificate, DSC. Since the registration procedure of a company is entirely online, a digital signature will be required for filing the forms on the MCA Portal. For all proposed directors and the subscribers of the Memorandum and Articles of Association, DSC is compulsory. Step 2. Director Identification Number, DIN. It is an identification number concerning a director. It has to be procured by anyone who intends to become a director in a company. DIN of a proposed director and the name and address proof must be mentioned in the company registration form. Step 3. Registration on the MCA Portal. A completed SPICE Plus form has to be submitted on the MCA Portal to apply for company registration. To fill the SPICE Plus form and submit the required documents, the company director must register on the MCA Portal. After the registration process is completed, the director will access the MCA Portal services, which comprises filing e-forms and viewing public documents. Step 4. Certificate of Incorporation. After the registration application is submitted and the concerned documents, the Registrar of Companies will inspect the application. After the application is verified, he will issue the Certificate of Incorporation of the public company. Documents required for incorporating a public limited company. Proof of identity of all the shareholders and directors. Proof of address of all the directors and the shareholders. PAN number of all the shareholders and directors. Utility bill of the proposed office, i.e., proposed registered office for the company. A NOC, no objection certificate, from the landlord where the company's office will be situated. Director identification number, DIN, of all the directors. Digital signature certificate, DSC, of the directors. Memorandum of Association, MOA. Articles of Association, AOA. Educating and mentoring startups and growing enterprises. We are available at www.salsabilalahmedandco.com or contact 988-010-6346. Click the like button for more videos.